In today's video, we will be talking about vintage designer pieces. And I will be hauling a couple of goodies that I have had here for, I'll be honest, it's been about a year. Shame on me, I won't do that again. But you've probably seen some of these items peeking around the background in some of my videos, so be a little bit of a haul, but then also how I personally shop for vintage designer pieces online. Let us start off with the best of them all. Ta-da-da. This, I would say, is probably like in the top 3 designer vintage like handbags that there is, and I was super lucky to pick this one up on eBay in a bidding war. I actually did not think I won it. I bidded. I placed my bid in the last 2 seconds and I didn't think my internet was fast enough. I literally walked away from the computer thinking I lost. I came back 5 minutes later and realized I won. I grabbed my card so fast and paid for it. But it is such a good piece. I believe this is called the Mama Bag. And it's just in the classic Fendi monogram, the Zucca print. I actually never really liked brown at all. It washes me out, you know, it's literally my skin tone color, but it's such a good nude and for my collection, and I feel like it's something I've been missing for a long time, and I've been pairing it with everything and it has been working. In general, where I will look and shop for vintage designer pieces online are places like The Real Real, Vestiaire Collective, eBay, and Depop. Now, I suggest you guys, if you're shopping online for the first time and want to make sure that it's authentic, just stick to the reseller sites like The Real Real and Vestiaire Collective, where they have people who authenticate the items for you. That way you just have a little bit more peace of mind. Obviously things can slip through the cracks, but if it's your first rodeo, just stick there. I had actually read up on an article on The Real Real on how to authenticate vintage Fendi, and literally when I came across this on eBay, it was like somebody in New York who had it. It literally ticked off all the boxes on that article, and I literally scoured the internet for photos. There's so many photos of this bag online. I knew off the bat it was real, and the way the bids were going up higher and higher, I was like, it's definitely real. I got this one for, I think, about $4.50 Canadian, which is pretty good because I believe these bags retail now for about $800. I got it a year ago, but still around that time it was still pretty pricey as well too. If you are shopping on eBay, a really safe way to do it, a lot of people actually shop with Japanese resellers. Reason being is in Japan it's illegal to sell counterfeit goods. Again, I'm still not going to tell you guys to hold that rule down in your heart because you never know. But I will list down below a few Japanese resellers that I follow, and to be honest, they all get really good reviews. I think they would have been kicked off eBay by now if they were selling fakes. And if anything, you can always authenticate the items with photos through like an authentication service. You just pay like $10 or so, and then like specialists online will authenticate it for you if you decide to shop on eBay or Depop and you're completely unsure about the authenticity. And I could just tell off the bat, like, it was true vintage. Like, the person who had it wore it, there was a bit of wear, it was loved, it was like broken in, but it was still in really good condition. The hardware looked like really good. The next piece that I have is from The Real Real. I also picked this one up like a year ago. This little Prada nylon shoulder bag. Now when it comes to Prada, a lot of people are searching up like the classic nylon tessuto shoulder bag or whatever. I'll post a picture of it. One of my tips for you guys is to try and shop pieces from different designer brands that are vintage before they get super trendy and super out there. Like, for example, like the Dior saddlebag. That thing retails now vintage for like $2,000 or a bit over $1,000. And in my opinion, I would rather just save up for a new one. Yeah, so try and hop on another style that's not as like trendy, but make sure you actually like it. Don't just buy any random designer vintage piece. And then that way you can kind of like catch it before the like price inflates like tremendously. So I picked up this little Prada nylon number. I thought it was so cute with the little bow tie, feminine with the ruching and the braided shoulder strap. And I wanted this piece for nights out, and I like the fact that it was all black and nylon, so if anything spilt on it, it would be okay, especially because my best friend's favorite drink of choice is cranberry vodka. But yeah, so if you're going on any of these websites and you're just searching up vintage Dior bags or like vintage Louis Vuitton pochettes, try and like think outside of the box of what you haven't seen yet. For instance, like vintage Celine items, you don't really see them out there like that. And I think the reason being is because their vintage monogram, kind of like logo, it's not as prominent. It's not as recognizable as, say, like a Louis Vuitton like monogram print. That shouldn't be all what designer is. It's not always about showing off like what logo and what brand you have. I know that's really trendy to do right now, and that's probably why Celine isn't like totally up there in terms of vintage stuff, but who knows, hop on it right now, because I'm pretty sure pretty soon Celine is gonna hop on that vintage train too and skyrocket with like their throwback like monogram stuff. So feel free to search up. I saw like a really cute backpack from them and stuff. Do some digging and find some like cool pieces. So the next thing I have is kind of a mistake. I don't know if it's real or not, and shame on me, because we've all you've probably watched that video I have up with the fake Valentino t-shirt that I got sold, and I ended up getting my money back for that. But this one, I'm really on the fence of. This Fendi vintage wool scarf. Now, there's mainly one major reason as to why I don't think it's real, and reason being is that the F's don't seem like the traditional Fendi F's. If you take a look at this bag compared to this, let's just say the F's meet a little bit too closely on the scarf as opposed to the bag. So basically this extra line in the F that comes in the center of it, it's too short. I feel like it's supposed to be longer, like compared to this bag itself. But that being said, vintage items sometimes vary, and the monogram prints sometimes vary. These kind of like Fendi shoulder bags, there's also a version with really small F's on it, and within the monogram it says Fendi itself, and the F's are so much smaller. But I still don't think they match those smaller F's as well. I'm not sure if there's like some different way like you knit scarves or whatever, but that's the one thing that's throwing me off from this scarf. I did pick this one up on Depop. Don't be like me. Honestly, if you see something on Depop you like, I'm not saying everything on there is fake, but just try to authenticate it first through an authentication service before you purchase it. For me, reason being why I didn't do that is because it was such a good price. I didn't want it to slip from my fingers, and a lot of, like 500 people liked this post, and I think I bought it for $230 US. So it wasn't cheap. Like it was maybe about like $250, $270 Canadian. It wasn't that cheap. But I just don't know. It seems like real wool. It seems like it's in really good condition for it being vintage, but that doesn't mean anything. The tag does seem authentic. It does say Fendi made in Italy, and it has all these like old kind of like wool tags, and they're like kind of like rubbed off. But it says Fendi, it doesn't say Fendi Roma, it says like Fendi Oma. And I tried to Google this, and Fendi Oma is like a vintage men's perfume. I don't know, was this a gift with purchase? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just really confused. I thought I had saw something exactly like it on Vestiaire Collective, which is another reason why I purchased it right away. I still decided to put this in this video just so you guys can learn from my mistakes, and I'm going to send the photos into an authentication service. And what I'm going to do is I will update you guys in the comment section below, probably a week after I post this video, and let you know what they say. I don't know, I'm like 65-70% sure it's real. If this is real, I think this would be really cute, like on top of like a blazer and belted and stuff. But I don't know. I'm on the fence about this. It just sucks sometimes because you can find really good pieces from real people who bought these things back in the day, especially if they're a bit older, and they're real, and they just want to get rid of them for like a really decent price. So And by the way, that item that I purchased just goes to show you don't have to just look for handbags and stuff. There's also a bunch of like shoes and like scarves and other accessories that you could like hop on that not many people are looking for as well too, and you can find some like really good gems as well. The next piece that I have, I featured in my luxury thrifting video, and it is this little baby Coach bag. Now, classic Coach monogram makes me like giggle a bit. I used to have like a bunch of it. It just reminds me of like grade 6 and how I had the crossbody bag and stuff. I don't know, it slightly makes me cringe. But I came across this little Coach bag in a vintage store here in Toronto by the name of House of Vintage. I will list that video above, and it was such a good price. It was only like $45. I'm not 100% sure like how vintage this is. I don't know. I feel like most people consider vintage 20 years and older. In my eyes, anything like 10 to 20 plus years is like vintage in my books. I actually did a search of like the inside barcode. This is definitely real, by the way. And I did a search online, and it came up on a few other designer reseller websites, like this other Canadian brand by the name of LXR and Co. And they were selling it for like 200 Canadian dollars, and someone bought it. And I also saw it on Poshmark. I saw someone sell it for $12 and it went. But I got it for $45, and I'm not mad at that at all. I think it's such a cute red bag. I didn't have any red bags in my collection, and I feel like reds are such a good pop that I wanted it more so in like a small bag to give that kind of like punch. I love it like with that graphic t-shirt I got in that video, so definitely check it out if you are interested. Is no stranger to my channel. It's this little Burberry, slightly bucket kind of, it looks like a toiletry bag almost, so it kind of like turned me off when I first got it. I'm like, are people gonna think I have like my toothbrush and stuff in here? But it's such a cute piece. Like when you hold it like this, it doesn't bother me at all. I got this little piece here from the Real, I think for around $350 as well. I kind of can't remember all of these prices, but everything that I bought was under $500 for sure. I just thought this was so cute, and I love like the classic Burberry print, and it was like such a good piece. I'm so glad I picked it up. But here's another problem, something you can learn from me. I got this from the Real. It seemed very cute. There wasn't any like crazy stains or anything, but there was one thing that was wrong with it, even though I shopped from this authenticated site. When I hold the bag and I fill it with stuff like a regular person does, with nothing heavy because it's a small bag, once I hold it and I'm like walking around, this thing pops off. Like it literally pops off so easily. It's not like secure at all. And I'm not gonna lie, like that really upset me. And it's not something I did. It happened like within the first wear of me getting it. So it was definitely an issue from before. And I've had this bag for almost a year now. I feel like if I message them, they'd probably be like, okay, sure. Like, I'm sure you did something to the bag. But I just haven't gotten around to messaging them because I haven't worn it that much because of it. I don't know. Like, I feel like I might have to, like, take it to, like, what do you call it? Like, a shoe repair person, a cobbler. It sucks because, like, the snap can fully snap here perfectly fine, and you can wear it like a clutch. I just personally don't like that way. I like the other way better. And I don't want to have to remove this snap, because if I ever do start liking to wear it as a clutch, I want that option. I definitely am not going to give it, like, I'm not going to give it away. I'm going to see if I can fix it somehow. Maybe I'll see if I can message the Real and see if, like, they can offer me, like, a credit or something. Because, like, that was not fair. Like, that should have been highlighted in their description. Or perhaps they didn't even realize. But you should totally do wear tests, because you never know. Now I'm, like, totally in the mood to get, like, a matching scarf or like a bucket hat or something to go with this. That was my vintage designer haul and how I do my shopping, and not necessarily tips, but I guess for you to like learn from the way I've done it and the mistakes I've made. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you've learned something. I do have quite a few other vintage designer pieces on my list to tick off. If you'd like to see those in the future, definitely stick around and click my big head to subscribe. Click on these other videos and watch these other videos that you may have missed, and follow me on these socials to keep up with me elsewhere. And don't forget to click the bell so you get notified when I post my weekly videos. I love you guys so much, and take care.